Record.
Welcome to Mind, Body, and Soul Awakening, a show where we celebrate resilience and inspire transformation. Our guests share their stories of how they overcame a traumedy and turned it into a triumph. I am your host, StarzTina. Get excited and let's have some fun.
Hey, hello. How are you doing? Well, as you know, I am StarzTina, and I am super excited and motivated to be with you today. This is the final episode of season 1. Woo! Can you tell that I am a little bit, okay, I'm not a little bit, I'm a lot of it excited and motivated, feeling so good. And I just cannot believe how fast time flies. The idea was in my head to do a podcast because I wanted to share my story. You know my story. If you don't know, go back to episode 1. And it shares my story. And I thought, there's people out there that need to hear different things, all that great stuff. So I'm hoping you can hear me nice and clear here. If not, it'll tune in correctly soon. So I'm so grateful that I have my partner my supporting partner, Renee, coming through as we do this little wrap up and review of season 1. So if you're listening to this, I'm hoping that you're following us on YouTube. If not, you can see me on YouTube. So with that being said, let's make some noise. Let's bring up Renee. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm so excited that we are doing this because I cannot believe how quickly this season has gone by.
I know. And before we even begin, Renee, I just want to say thank you so much because people really don't know what really goes into producing a podcast, producing a virtual podcast. And I say virtual, I meant to say video, so you can actually see the persons and the graphics. So Renee, I'm hugging you and I'm thanking you so much for helping me in the background and with the questions and the answers and all that stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So I want you to start. If you're listening to this, we had 7 episodes, and today we're going to wrap them all up in a nice, beautiful bow, our highlights of each one. So I'm going to throw the mic over to you, Renee, so you can tell us what you liked best or episode or whatever. I'm throwing it to you.
Well, I want to get to the very first episode, which was you, because I want you to remind us of the vision that you had of creating this podcast and inviting all of these people on to share their stories. And little did you know probably at the time, but not only did they affect us and our viewers and listeners, but we impacted them. So I would like if you could share where you were thinking in the beginning and what
Definitely. So Renee, as you know, I've got a pretty heavy story. I'm not going to go into it today. Like I said, go to episode 1, and it's pretty much the traumedy of my life, period. A traumedy is when the energies of a trauma and a tragedy collide. When these two energies come together, life-changing experiences occur, and everyone's gone through something. I've had the gratitude, the grace, the honor of being blessed with having lots of traumedies, and God gave me the tips, the tools, the strategies, all the strength, the resilience to push through. So I felt the need to share my story. And I know a lot of amazing humans who've done the same thing as me. So I wanted to share their stories. Why? So that we can show you that anything, I repeat, anything is possible. So along with this podcast, my goal is to just change the world, to kind of shift it, to absolutely shift the world. Think about a volcano, a hurricane, a tornado, or a shining star. StarzTina. It's going to shift the world. How? By the energy. Your vibe is your tribe. And let me tell you, God is just
pouring these stars. I feel like I'm getting shooting stars. You ever see a shooting star at night? They're just shooting into me with all the amazing people that are surrounding me. And we are going to bring so much energy, so much vibration to the world. It's going to shift it. So that is the goal of this podcast. If you're listening right now, do me a favor. Share it out. Don't forget to give reviews. But we're going to change the world with these amazing stories. So Renee, thank you so much for highlighting me and my story and all that great stuff. We're going to go over to the second guest, or it wasn't the second guest. It was the guest I want to talk about next. Or maybe we are talking about the next guest. I will be talking about Pastor Jeff. Is that mine, Renee? Yes, it's mine. Pastor Jeff was our first guest. Oh, we're actually going in order. I like that, Renee. I think we're going in order. We're going to go in order. So our next guest was PJ. PJ is amazing. And most of the guests that are on here, I actually met on an app called Clubhouse. If you are not familiar with Clubhouse, Lord of mercy, dive into it. It is a game changer. Everything I have done with my business, the way I've grown physically, mentally, you name it, is because of this app, because of the room Breakfast with Champions. And most of the guests are from that show. Glenn Lundy, what can I say? Go to his website, GLENNLUNDY. Glenn Lundy. Whew, where do I begin? Traumatides out the wazoo, from suicide to being homeless. The list goes on. But let me tell you, he has built an empire of champions. He started a room on Clubhouse called Breakfast with Champions. He also has another group of automobile salespeople and managers called 800% Club. So in the interview with him, I just pretty much dive into, how did you do it? And I got to tell you, the beginning of the episode, before I even talked about him, he really poured into me, which I thought was so amazing, because I'm always wanting to help, right? And I'm like, I want to build your business. I want to build your business. But he was so wonderful that he wanted to build me up. So I thought that was so great. And that was episode number 2. Renee, tell us about episode number 3.
That would have been Stephanie Brown-Keglar. And the thing that struck me about Stephanie, she is a woman that we met. She has a company called Dancing Without Sin. And she is Christian-based, but fulfills the physical needs of people having healthy minds and healthy bodies, all about what we're about, right? Keep making sure that people are in the best possible physical shape that they can, so that they can go out and be living their best lives. And what struck me about Stephanie, as you know, is that she took a house and created, I would like to call it a sanctuary. We've had the pleasure of being in there, and it's so warm and inviting. And every single space in that house has a purpose. People feel as if they belong when they come into that house. I don't remember if the house has a name or not, but I do know that the company is Dancing Without Sin.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you. So, if you don't know, Tina gets super excited. And I was supposed to be talking about Pastor Jeff because he was our second guest, but I started talking about Glenn. So I'm going to rewind and go back to Pastor Jeff, because I told you all about Glenn. Glenn was in the next episode after that. Pastor Jeff PJ was our very first guest. And he's another person that I met on Breakfast with Champions. He is a coach. He is you name it. But for me, he is that person that is a light. He had a loss of his own. His son passed away. And he shared with us a lot of tools of getting over the loss of a child, or just loss, period, not even just a child. Being a pastor during COVID, he had to deal with a lot of families. And he shared one thing that was my key takeaway. And Renee, maybe we'll do like a key takeaway of all the speakers in one little pamphlet, and we can send out a newsletter, listen to our podcast season 1, and then highlights of each one, just throwing it out there, because you know how I forget stuff. But the one key takeaway I got from Pastor Jeff was that think of death as a graduation. And I don't know about you, even to this day, when it's usually around June where kids start graduating from high school or whatever grade, and I get so emotional. I think of my kids graduated, and for me, I think a lot of people, you get kind of sad, right? It's like a transition to another level, another point in your life. And he said, think of death as a transition, as a graduation. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that is great. Because they're still there, right? They're still with us. It's just we don't see them, we don't feel them. And yes, I do have those down days, those up days, those whatever days. But that was really great. And Pastor Jeff, actually, he wrote an ebook. He's also going to be doing a course, a master class. And I'm so grateful to have him in my circle so we can support one another and all that great stuff. So that was the first guest. Second one was Stephanie, then Glenn. Renee, who was next?
Barbara Majeski. Barbara is my idol. I want to be on the Today Show too. No, Barbara impresses me because she comes from a very poor background. And Barbara is an example of someone who overcame the traumas that come along with being very poor and also very sick. She's had a bunch of medical issues. And the thing that struck me was her resilience of not letting it stop her, but instead learning from others who were where she wanted to be and knowing that she belonged there too. And so I really love that about her. And one thing that she said, I can't remember if she said it in our interview or another live or something that I was hearing her. She said, she now does not have to work, but she has work to do, meaning that it is her purpose to enable people to be able to live their best lives.
I love that, Renee. And her website, if you'd like to go there, is BarbaraMajeski.com. That's BarbaraMajeski.com. Barbara Majeski. Yes, we love a good old Barbara. All righty. So I'm going to fast forward to our next guest, which was Adam Smith. Adam Smith, I met him at a business conference in Dallas. It was called Business Growth Conference, I believe. Breakfast with Champions actually produced it. Ramon Ray and Trevor Houston. It was absolutely game changer when it comes to relationships for me. I got to dive deeper with a good friend now, Angeline Moore, who has KSA Systems that does all my background for my automations and all that wonderful stuff, courses. So if you're looking for a company that can help you with your automations, hit up KSA, my girl, Angeline. But while there, we had some other girls with us. We did like a girls trip sort of thing. I love parties. Let me tell you, I'm used to being in a house with a lot of people. When I was a kid, so for the average person, it would be a 2-family, maybe 3, maybe 4 family size house, but we all lived in it. So for example, on the first floor, you had my grandmother. She was a Smith. Then you had my cousin on the other side. She was a Smith too. And you went upstairs. I was there. I was a Wilson. And then you had the Mascals. Oh, I forgot about the basement. You had, I guess they were Smiths too. Everyone was kind of Smiths. And you had the Beans. So it was like little tiny families in this house, but we were all one family. So I just love being around people. What can I say? So if there's ever an event, I would be like, girl trip. By the way, August 12th, there's going to be a girls trip in Jersey for my book launch. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, in Dallas, get back to the point, Tina. Get back to the point. I was in Dallas for this conference, and a bunch of us ladies went. I think it was like 6 or 7 of us, and we had such a connection. We actually came up with a name for ourselves because we want Angeline's name is Sparkle. I love brightness and stars. So we called ourselves the Sparkle Sisters, and we all got sparkly jackets. So we would match different colors for our brands. I had a red sparkly jacket. And let's just say the connections. And Adam Smith was one of the speakers that day. And he doesn't like to be called a motivational speaker. But low-key, he's a motivational speaker. He just doesn't want everyone to know. And can I just tell you, he shifted my world. He shifted my energy. And that, my love, is extremely hard to do. I am naturally excited. I am naturally motivated. But when someone comes into the room and makes me go, Like, girl, get your ish together. That was him. So he shared some of his game-changing life moments. For example, I'll say this all the time. Is it a feeling or is it a fact? Because I'll hear people say all the time, oh, well, I felt like you were mean to me and it feels like I don't freaking care how you feel. All right. Is it a fact? Is it real? What is the proof? Because you may have all these stories going on in your head. Get rid of the stories and what are the facts? That's it. He's got a couple things, but you got to listen to that episode because that was a game changer as well. That was our 6th episode. And then our very last episode was my daughter, Divinity, and that by far was my favorite episode. One, because of the name, Divinity. By the way, you can go to her website, divinitygaines.com. That's DIVINITYGAINES.com. Divinity Gaines. And Divinity is a professional dancer. She's an influencer. She's a yoga instructor. She is a life changer, a life mover, just all sorts of light. And she's a coach as well. So I had her on here to share some of her traumas that she has gone through. And she gave us some great tools. So we're going to have this toolbox. And in this toolbox, there's various things that you can do to uplift your soul, to uplift your mind. It may be yoga, it may be meditation, it may be journaling, it may be talking to a friend, going to a therapist. But she shared with us all the things she went through. And the one thing I liked most, she was our youngest host, and she was sharing how when she was a child, different things happened to her. And looking back at it now, we can't be mad at children because they're screaming or they're yelling or they're doing something. Like, go to the root of the problem. And she shared how, as a child, she was angry because her mother, me, was not there. I was working, I was going to school, I was making a better life for us, but she was mad because she couldn't spend time with me. So she acted out in different ways. So we have to dig a little bit deeper. That was definitely by far my favorite episode. I'm actually going to go back and listen to all the episodes, one, so I can see what I can do better, whether it's sound, sucking my teeth. But I really want to listen to them first. Maybe I'll listen to them all first and then watch, because you got to remember you have all your senses, right? And if I'm listening, I can really get in tune to what everyone's saying and really go deep for the feelings. Yeah, I just thought of that. So I invite you to do the same thing and share it out with someone else, because you have no idea who's going through certain situation. And I promise, I pinky swear promise, the episodes will be shorter next season. I know they were like 50 to 55 minutes, almost an hour. I kind of got carried away. I'll make sure I have bullet points, but I'm new to this whole podcasting thing and I love it. Renee, I'm thinking, no, the next season is definitely going to be 7 episodes. The next season is going to be traumedies. Tina's traumedies. What are some of my traumedies? I'm going to mention some of them. Divorce, committing suicide, mental health hospital. It's going to be some of the things that I personally have gone through in my life and how I got through them. Yep, that's season 2. So it's all going to be 7 of those. And with that being said, I just want you to realize Mind, Body, Soul Awakening. Where did I come up with that name? It's been a combination of different things, which just leads back to my business. I am a traumedy life and health coach. I run an online fitness boutique studio. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a mom. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. But at the end of the day, I believe I'm a gift from God. And God has brought me here to uplift you, to take you to the next level, to be that spark, to be that energy. I'm not perfect. I'm not where I want to be. Thank God I'm not where I used to be. I'm just pushing and pushing and pushing. So I want you to dial into our YouTube channel. Yes, Renee is amazing. That's my assistant, my supporting partner, my good friend. But when you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. We have different playlists because Tina can do a lot. She does a lot. If you want to get into public speaking, you can get on my platform there about public speaking. I recently run district level in the Toastmasters competition. So I'm going to do a whole series on public speaking if you want to get started with that or just even talk better. I even have some skincare and nutrition in there. We definitely have our fitness classes, but please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The foundation of our business, everything we do, are 4 core values. The first one is loyalty. Be loyal to yourself first. At the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. Look at the man in the mirror. Play that song by Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. That's our first core value, loyalty. The second one, hard work. And I'm not talking about lifting bricks. I'm talking about doing what you say you're going to do. Sometimes that's just hard enough. Making a plan and sticking to it. There is no difference between you, between me, between Oprah, between Lisa Nichols. No difference. The only difference is we all have a plan and we don't stop until we get it done. No excuses. I am amazing. You are amazing. You are unstoppable. But you got to have hard work. The third core value, faith. For me, the last 17 days, I've been diving super, super deep into my faith with some extra prayers, with some meditation. And I want to invite you to dig super deep into your faith. My daughter was talking, I don't know if it was in the podcast or just our general conversations. And she said one way how she got closer to God was by reading the Bible. And I was like, girl, do you know what the heck you're reading? Because I don't know about you, but whenever I read the good book, the beautiful book of the Bible, I'm like, I love it. I love it. I love it. Because me, I like to do everything like this. I'm grooving. So I'll do like a whole chapter, 2 chapters. And I'm like, what did I just read? What does that mean? No, she said, girl, she does 1 verse at a time. She soaks into that verse. She gets it into her soul. So dive deep into your faith a little bit more because that's what's going to get you to the next level. And the last core value that we have is high energy. Your energy, your vibration. God gives us this wonderful vibration. And honestly, what I do is I think of myself as a sun ray. Maybe that's why I like stars so much. It's like the energy is here. Don't ask me what that sound means. But you want to be around my energy because you're going to get lifted up yourself. So those are our 4 core values. I want you to think of a house right now. And those 4 core values are on the bottom. Might be cement, might be water. I don't know, but it is solid as a freaking rock. Then we've got our pillars. Now, most houses have 4 pillars, right? But no, we're a little Hollywood. We got to go a little extra. So we have 5 pillars, like the star right up above, right? So the very top of the star, that top pillar is mindset. Right here in your head is where everything begins. Get rid of those limiting beliefs. Get rid of that imposter syndrome. Get rid of that negative person, thing, place. Get it off of your shoulder. It could be the devil. I see you. All right. It's there, but you are in control. Mindset is our first pillar. Then you got the other 2 pillars. Heart set. Your heart set is that one thing that's going to get you up in the morning at 3 to go train for your race. That heart set is what's going to get that book published. Renee got it done yesterday. Okay. We had an idea. We had a thought. It's going to get done. Friday, we will have our book. Boom. It's that heart set. All right. That course that we have planned, that book launching party, that TV show. Why? Because our heart is there. It's sparking out and we have to get the word out. The third pillar that we have, mindset. Heart set is nutrition. What you put in and on your body is so important. And it's mostly important to do what's best for your body. To be totally honest with you guys, I am not 150% excited as I normally am because about less than an hour ago, I got a phone call from my doctor's office with the results of my blood work. And I am a health, fitness enthusiast, professional, and I have been working very, very hard for the past 9-10 years on my health, on what I'm eating, on what I'm doing. Long story short, it's not where I want it to be.
So I have to do what's best for me and really tap into that extra nutrition, because being a Black woman with cholesterol high in the family, with the heart attack from my dad at 45, it's like I want to cry, but I'm not. But nutrition, 80% of the way you look is by what you're eating. So make sure you're eating good. That is the third pillar. The fourth pillar, which is on that bottom over there, that's movement, exercise. I love exercise. I love moving. I love trying new things. And yesterday I went to a yoga / stretching class, and it was a very basic class. And I was like, wow, this feels really good. Now, our normal classes are 30 minutes. And when I got out, I said, you know what? We all could use a little extra stretching, right? So we're going to be adding 15 minutes to our stretching, to our movement classes. So movement / exercise is the fourth pillar. And the fifth pillar is resilience / traumedy. You have to have that resilience. So those are the 5 pillars. And then at the very, very, very top, we have the Mind, Body, Soul Awakening Journey. We have a program. If you're interested in that, contact me. I do one-on-one coaching for you to get to the next level. I'm that person that's going to take you from good to great to amazing. All righty. I am StarzTina. That's my sidekick, Renee. We are so grateful and honored to have you a part of this Mind, Body, and Soul Awakening podcast. Get ready for season 2. Thank you.